So you're building a mobile app. That's fantastic. But right away, you're going to face a ton of decisions. And there's one that sits right at the top, one that's going to affect your budget, your team, and how fast you can get your idea out there. Today, we're diving into a technology that might just solve your biggest headache, React Native.
And it all starts here with this fundamental question. Which way do you go? Do you build for the millions of people on Apple's iOS? Or do you target the billions on Android? Or do you try to do both at the same time? The answer you pick is going to shape pretty much everything that comes next.
You know, the traditional way of doing things, that path on the left, it can be a real handful. We're talking about hiring an iOS team that speaks Swift and a totally separate Android team that knows their Kotlin or Java. That's 2 code bases to write, 2 teams to manage, and 2 budgets to fund. But look at the path on the right. It asks a really interesting question. What if you could do it all with just 1 team and 1 code base? And that, right there, is the promise of something like React Native. It was basically born to solve this exact problem, to bridge that gap between the Apple world and the Android world in a really smart way. So what is it really? Well, simply put, React Native is a framework that lets your developers write an app's code one time using JavaScript. Then that single set of code gets turned into a real, legitimate native app that you can put on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And I mean the real deal, not just a website pretending to be an app. Okay, so how does this whole one code base thing actually help you in the real world? It really comes down to what I call the efficiency trifecta, 3 huge advantages that impact your time, your team, and, of course, your budget. First up, and this is the big one, the core idea behind it all, the single code base. This isn't just some minor technical detail. It's the foundation that all the other benefits are built on. Think about what this actually means day to day. Instead of your team building a login screen for iOS and then turning around and building that exact same screen again for Android, they just built it once. When a bug pops up, you fix it in one place, not 2. This just massively cuts down on the work and makes keeping the app updated so much simpler. Naturally, when you're writing less code, you're going to move faster. But React Native has another trick up its sleeve that really speeds things up.
It's all thanks to this awesome feature called hot reloading. You see, normally a developer makes a small change, like changing a color, and then they have to wait for the whole app to recompile to see it. It's a lot of waiting. With hot reloading, the change shows up instantly. That tiny little feedback loop, repeated thousands of times, is a huge accelerator for the entire project.
All right, so when you combine one code base with super fast development, the result is pretty obvious, right? You get the third piece of our trifecta, a solution that is way more friendly to your wallet. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You're not paying for 2 separate specialized teams. Your development time is shorter. That means fewer hours you have to pay for to get your app into users' hands. For any business, but especially a startup, this isn't just a nice little perk. It can be an absolute game changer. But efficiency is only half the battle. A big question that always comes up with these tools is, okay, it's faster, but do I have to sacrifice quality? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the technical side of things. The number one concern for any cross-platform tool is always performance. Is there a catch? Is the app going to feel slow or clunky compared to a true native app? And here is the secret sauce. React Native isn't just showing a web page in an app. It actually translates your code into the real, honest-to-goodness user interface components that are native to iOS and Android. That means the buttons, the lists, the animations, they are the device's actual building blocks. The result is performance that feels incredibly smooth and is very close to a fully native app. Next up, let's talk about the structure. A great app isn't just about how it works today, it's about how easy it is to grow and fix tomorrow. So React Native is built using components. The best analogy is Lego blocks. You build a perfect button component once, and then you can just reuse that same Lego brick anywhere you want in the app. This makes the whole project so much cleaner and easier to understand, which is a lifesaver when your app starts to get more complex. You know, great tech doesn't just exist on its own. It thrives because of the people who use it and support it. And this is an area where React Native has a huge advantage. Because it's so popular, there's this massive global community of developers behind it, so if you get stuck on a problem, chances are someone else has already solved it and written about it online.
Plus, there's a giant ecosystem of pre-built code for things like adding maps or accessing the camera, so you don't have to build everything from scratch.
But what if you need to do something really specific to, say, the brand new iPhone? Something that only exists on one platform. Are you stuck? Well, the answer is a big, fat no. And this might be its most powerful feature, what developers call the escape hatch. React Native doesn't lock you in. When you need that little extra bit of performance or access to some cutting-edge feature, you can just write a small piece of native code in Kotlin for Android or Swift for iOS and plug it right into your app. You really get the best of both worlds. So we've looked at the business case. We've looked under the hood at the tech. What's the big picture here? What does this all really mean for you? When you put it all together, the case for React Native is pretty compelling. You get the efficiency of one team for two platforms. You get the speed from tools like hot reloading. You get performance that feels great for your users. You get the flexibility to never be painted into a corner. And all of that adds up to a significantly lower project cost. It offers a really powerful answer to that initial iOS or Android question by giving you a path that's efficient, fast, and flexible. And that really leaves us with the final question to think about for your own work. What's your preferred mobile development stack and why?